In 1939, a Viennese doctor died in London exile, having spent his life excavating the hidden drives that govern human behavior. But what would Sigmund Freud make of a world where fame has become the ultimate object of desire, where millions worship celebrities they will never meet, and where the pursuit of attention has replaced the pursuit of love? Tonight, we resurrect the father of psychoanalysis to explore how celebrity culture has weaponized our deepest unconscious desires, turning narcissism into a global industry and fame into the new religion of the masses. I am your host, Artashes Khurshudyan, and this is Conversations with the Great Dead. Sigmund Freud revolutionized our understanding of human motivation by revealing the unconscious forces that drive our behavior. He showed us that beneath our rational conscious minds lie primitive drives, the libido, the death drive, the Oedipus complex that shape our desires in ways we rarely understand. Freud identified narcissism as a fundamental aspect of human psychology, necessary for healthy development, but dangerous when it becomes pathological. He also recognized the power of identification, our tendency to unconsciously model ourselves after idealized figures. Today, celebrity culture has created a new form of mass psychology. Millions of people follow the intimate details of strangers' lives, project their fantasies onto famous figures, and increasingly seek fame for themselves. Social media has democratized celebrity, making everyone potentially famous for 15 minutes or 15 seconds. Are we witnessing the emergence of collective narcissistic disorder, or has fame simply revealed drives that were always present in human nature? Professor Freud, welcome to an age where the ego has gone public and desires have been commodified.
Ach mein Gott, the psychic landscape here is extraordinary. I sense an ocean of unresolved narcissistic needs, primitive exhibitionism, voyeuristic desires, all organized around figures who exist primarily as objects of projection and fantasy.
Celebrity culture does seem to revolve around watching and being watched. Millions consume intimate details about celebrities' lives while simultaneously performing their own lives for social media audiences.
Yes, this is a mass regression to what I would call the exhibitionistic phase of development. In healthy psychological development, the child's natural exhibitionism, look at me, watch me, is gradually integrated with reality testing and social adaptation. But what I observe here is a culture that has institutionalized infantile exhibitionism. These celebrities are professional exhibitionists, paid enormous sums to display themselves for the voyeuristic pleasure of the masses.
You are suggesting celebrity culture is fundamentally infantile?
Consider the psychological dynamics. The celebrity exists in a state of primary narcissism. They are the center of attention. Their every mood and whim is reported, their physical appearance obsessively scrutinized. They live in a world where external reality constantly confirms their narcissistic fantasies of omnipotence and specialness. Meanwhile, the audience experiences vicarious narcissistic gratification through identification with the celebrity. They think, if I can somehow become like this person, I too will be universally desired, admired, envied.
What about the darker aspects? Celebrity scandals, downfalls, public humiliations?
Aha! This reveals the sadomasochistic undercurrents of celebrity worship. The same public that elevates celebrities to godlike status takes tremendous pleasure in witnessing their destruction. This is the return of the repressed, the unconscious hostility toward the idealized figure. You see, the celebrity becomes a screen for the projection of both idealized and demonized aspects of the self. When we worship celebrities, we are loving an idealized version of ourselves. When we destroy them, we are punishing ourselves for our own narcissistic wishes.
So, celebrity scandals serve a psychological function?
Absolutely. The public creates these figures as repositories for their own forbidden desires: wealth, beauty, sexual freedom, power, and then punishes them for living out these very desires. It is a collective neurosis, a way of simultaneously expressing and punishing narcissistic and libidinal wishes. The celebrity scandal allows the masses to experience moral superiority while consuming the very behavior they claim to condemn. They can enjoy the vicarious thrill of transgression, followed by the pleasure of righteous judgment.
How does this affect the celebrities themselves?
They develop what I would call fame neurosis, a condition where the boundary between public persona and private self dissolves. The celebrity becomes trapped in a hall of mirrors, unable to distinguish between authentic self-expression and performance for public consumption. Many celebrities report feeling empty or fake despite their success. This is because their ego development has been hijacked by external validation. They have never developed a stable sense of self-independent of public approval. The celebrity lives in constant fear of abandonment by their audience, leading to increasingly desperate attempts to maintain attention. This explains the escalating exhibitionism, the manufactured controversies, the attention-seeking behaviors that often appear pathological.
Let's explore how family dynamics play out in celebrity culture. Many celebrities seem to have complicated relationships with their parents, and fan relationships often seem almost familial.
Fascinating observation. Celebrity culture is deeply structured by unresolved Oedipal dynamics. Consider the typical celebrity biography. The young person rebels against parental authority, seeks fame as a way to surpass and symbolically kill the parent, then struggles with guilt over this success. The public, meanwhile, engages in complex identificatory processes. Young fans often relate to celebrities as idealized siblings, figures who have successfully rebelled against parental societal authority and achieved the freedom the fan desires.
What about older fans who follow celebrities who could be their children?
Here we see a reversal of the normal developmental process. Instead of the child identifying with the parent identifies with the child's celebrity. This allows the older fan to vicariously experience youth, beauty, and freedom, while avoiding the psychological work of accepting aging and mortality. The celebrity becomes a kind of immortal child, forever young, forever beautiful, forever free from the constraints that bind ordinary mortals.
How do you analyze the phenomenon of celebrity families, dynasties where fame passes from parent to child?
This is particularly revealing. These families create closed narcissistic systems where fame becomes the primary object of love and attention. The celebrity parent, unable to provide normal parental love because they are consumed by public adoration, instead offers the child access to fame as a substitute for authentic emotional connection. The celebrity child grows up in an environment where being famous is equated with being loved. They never develop the capacity for intimate, private relationships because they have been conditioned to seek validation from vast, anonymous audiences.
What about the intense parasocial relationships fans develop with celebrities?
These relationships represent a form of displaced transference. In normal psychological development, we learn to love real people despite their flaws and limitations. But the celebrity offers the illusion of a perfect love object. Beautiful, talented, seemingly available through media consumption, yet safely distant. The fan can project their ideal onto the celebrity without the messy complications of actual human relationship. The celebrity never disappoints them personally, never demands reciprocity, never reveals ordinary human limitations.
But this seems emotionally unfulfilling.
Precisely. This is why celebrity worship often becomes compulsive. The fan seeks from the celebrity what can only be provided by real human relationship: genuine intimacy, authentic recognition, reciprocal love. Since the celebrity cannot provide this, the fan increases their consumption, follows more obsessively, seeks more intimate access. It becomes a form of addiction, the constant pursuit of an emotional satisfaction that can never be achieved through one-way relationship with a fantasy figure.
You wrote about how sexual energy gets channeled into various cultural forms. How do you see sexuality operating in celebrity culture?
Celebrity culture has created what I would call a libidinal marketplace, a system where sexual energy is commodified, packaged, and sold back to the masses in carefully controlled doses. The celebrity becomes a professional object of desire. Their primary function is to be sexually appealing while remaining sexually unavailable. This creates a state of permanent sexual tension in the audience, desire that can be aroused but never satisfied.
How does this affect both celebrities and their audiences?
For celebrities, particularly young ones, this commodification of sexuality can be deeply traumatic. They learn that their value comes not from who they are, but from their ability to provoke desire in others. Their sexuality becomes a performance rather than an authentic expression of their nature. Many celebrities report feeling like objects rather than subjects. They exist to be looked at, desired, consumed, but not to have their own authentic sexual needs and relationships.
What about the audience's sexual development?
The constant exposure to idealized, unattainable sexual objects creates what I would call libidinal inflation. People develop unrealistic expectations about sexual attractiveness, sexual performance, sexual relationships. The ordinary person begins to compare their real sexual experiences with the fantasized sexuality of celebrities. This leads to dissatisfaction with real partners, performance anxiety, and often the substitution of celebrity fantasy for authentic sexual relationship.
How does social media intensify these dynamics?
Social media has democratized the celebrity system. Now everyone can be their own sexual commodity, their own object of desire. People curate their sexual attractiveness for public consumption, competing in a vast marketplace of attention and validation. This creates what I would call performative sexuality, sexual expression designed primarily for external validation rather than authentic desire or intimate connection. The boundary between private sexual self and public sexual performance dissolves.
What are the psychological consequences?
We are witnessing the emergence of new forms of sexual neurosis. People become addicted to external sexual validation while losing touch with their authentic sexual nature. They develop elaborate fantasies about how they appear to others while becoming increasingly disconnected from their own bodily desires and needs. The result is a kind of sexual alienation. People who are constantly performing sexuality while rarely experiencing genuine sexual satisfaction or intimacy.
You wrote about religion as a collective neurosis. Do you see similarities between traditional religion and celebrity worship?
Absolutely. Celebrity culture has created a new pantheon of gods and goddesses, beings who exist in a realm beyond ordinary human limitation, who are worshipped by millions, whose lives are treated as sacred narratives with profound meaning. Like traditional religious figures, celebrities are both idealized and feared. They perform miracles, artistic achievements, transformations, comebacks. They suffer for their sins, scandals, addictions, failures, and they offer salvation to their followers. The promise that fame, beauty, and success can overcome ordinary human suffering.
What psychological needs does this celebrity worship fulfill?
The same needs that traditional religion addressed: the desire for meaning, for connection to something greater than oneself, for hope that transcendence is possible. But celebrity culture offers only the illusion of transcendence. Traditional religion, whatever its flaws, at least attempted to connect people with values beyond the material world. Celebrity culture worships pure materialism, wealth, beauty, power, pleasure, while pretending these things have spiritual significance.
How does this affect society's psychological health?
We are creating a civilization organized around the worship of narcissism. The values promoted by celebrity culture, fame, wealth, physical beauty, instant gratification, are precisely the values that, when pursued obsessively, lead to psychological pathology. A healthy society requires the sublimation of primitive drives into constructive activities, art, science, meaningful work, genuine love. Celebrity culture does the opposite. It encourages the direct expression of primitive narcissistic and exhibitionistic impulses.
What would psychologically healthier relationship with fame look like?
First, we must recognize that the desire for recognition and admiration is natural and healthy in moderation. The problem is not the existence of these desires, but their pathological inflation in celebrity culture. A healthy society would offer multiple paths to meaningful recognition, through genuine achievement, through contribution to community, through the development of authentic skills and talents. Fame would be a byproduct of valuable activity, not an end in itself.
How can individuals protect themselves from psychological harms of celebrity culture?
Develop the capacity for what I call reality testing regarding fame and celebrity. Recognize that celebrities are ordinary human beings who have been artificially elevated by cultural and economic forces. Their apparent perfection is largely illusion created by professional image management. More importantly, invest your libidinal energy in real relationships with real people. The psychological satisfaction you seek from celebrity worship can only be found through authentic human connection, creative expression, and meaningful work. The antidote to celebrity neurosis is the development of genuine self-worth based on your own achievements, relationships, and values, rather than external validation and comparison with impossible ideals.
Professor Freud, as you return to the unconscious depths, what final insight would you offer to those caught in our culture of fame?
Remember that behind every desire for fame lies a deeper desire, the desire to be truly seen, truly known, truly loved for who you are. Celebrity culture promises to fulfill this desire, but can only offer its counterfeit, being seen as an image, known as a brand, loved as a fantasy. The path to psychological health leads not toward fame, but toward the courage to be authentically yourself in real relationships with real people. This is far more difficult than becoming famous, but infinitely more satisfying.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Conversations with the Great Dead. The guest of our next episode is Benedict Spinoza, known for his monumental works on ethics, determinism, and free will. We'll talk with Spinoza on free will, neuroscience, determinism, and the illusion of choice. Until then, remember, the most radical act in a culture of celebrity is to seek authentic selfhood over public adoration. This episode was inspired by Sigmund Freud's The Interpretation of Dreams, Civilization and its Discontents, on narcissism and group psychology and the analysis of the ego, as well as contemporary research in celebrity psychology and social media's effects on narcissism.